Today we welcome a Global Citizenship interview series, Professor Massimiliano Tarozzi. He is Professor of Education at the Department of Life Quality Studies at the University of Bologna, Italy, and is also Director of the International Research Center on Global Citizenship Education at the University of Bologna and coordinator of the Academic Network on Global Education and Learning, ANGEL, in the UK. Welcome to Professor Massimiliano Tarozzi, and thank you very much for joining Global Citizenship interview series.
Thank you and good afternoon.
How is the weather in Italy?
Well, the winter is coming, so it is getting colder and colder. We expect snowing next week. So yeah.
All right.
It's getting worse and getting very cold.
All right, it's a pleasure to see you. And to introduce this conversation on global citizenship, I will ask you a straightforward question. What is global citizenship education and what is global citizenship in your opinion?
Okay, so this is a $1 million question because this is one of the core questions related to global citizenship education as a whole, because conceptualizing global citizenship education is probably one of the main field, the research field surrounding global citizenship education. So there are a number of possible definitions and conceptualization of global citizenship education. To me, because you are asking my opinion, is something that cannot be seen as a new content, as a new approach. Is following the UNESCO definition is a framing paradigm, which makes sense to already well-established educational contents. It had been seen in a holistic way, combining individual, social, and biosphere. So this, to me, this is a very important point in global citizenship education. So the possibility to combining several different spheres. So in these terms, global citizenship education is a new educational perspective, allowing researchers, policymakers, practitioners to reconceptualize, to make new sense to old issues and providing new meanings to the context, the current context, global context, the plural, and in particular the plural and heterogeneous society.
Right. This is very interesting. And you published extensively and wrote several books on global citizenship, but you also focus on multiculturalism. How do you see a connection between the notion of global citizenship education and global citizenship and multiculturalism?
Yeah, so this is related to my personal academic history, because I have been studying intercultural education, multicultural education for more than 20 years, started from my PhD dissertation. And by the time I realized that multiculturalism, multicultural education, or citizenship education are facing some very crucial conundrums. The only way I found theoretically to overcome this problem is some of the unanswered questions that multiculturalism, multicultural education poses to educationalists and education policy and practice is to expand the perspective from a local or national dimension to the global one. I think that the global dimension is the only way from an educational perspective to deal with diversity, cultural diversity, and cultural issue. Therefore, to me, diversity and cultural issues are at the very core of global citizenship education perspective. And in this sense, they are also very closely related to human rights and the universal idea of equality and social justice. This is another crucial point. To some extent, global citizenship education provides responses to some, as I said, to the unanswered question, the multicultural education, and especially introduce the issue of equality and social justice in a global term by addressing it within the nation and between the nations.
Right, very interesting, very interesting. And I think in a way, this also ties with work you're doing as the director of the International Research Center on Global Citizenship Education at the University of Bologna. My question is how your academic background and research you developed both currently and in the past connects with the work you're doing as director of the International Research Center on Global Citizenship Education.
Okay, so this center, this research center, was established in 2017 within the Department of Life Quality Studies at the University of Bologna. At that time, we realized that it was necessary to try to facilitate relationship among different actors and stakeholders involved in promoting global citizenship education, especially in Italy. So research on global citizenship education was necessary to try to bridge the gaps between the actions and the activities of several stakeholders, practitioners, policymakers, civil society organizations, teachers, and researchers, to try to bridge the gap among them. So the main scope of the center at the very beginning was try to connect these various actors in Italy and elsewhere. We made a special connection with NGOs, with some of the NGOs and networks of NGOs. We carried out research at several projects, for example, acting as an impact assessment for NGO projects on global citizenship education. We'd also facilitate visiting research students. But I would like to mention an interesting episode, a recent episode, because during the COVID pandemic, during the first lockdown, in the emergency of the first lockdown, which in Italy in March and April was particularly strict, we provided support for local teachers because we realized that local teachers were kind of abandoned with all the schools were closed, and they were forced without any previous alert. They were forced to teach online through e-learning without having any particular professionship on that. So we try to support them by disseminating resources and reorganizing learning processes in an emergency. So then after that, we were asked to offer in-service training as a research center, because we noticed that the main problems that teachers was facing was that they tended, or actually they were invited to look for technical facilities and opportunities to select among several devices, platforms in a more technical way. And they tend to forget what is crucial for us. And then we encourage them to rethink pedagogically and to reorganize pedagogically their priority based on the current constraints, and then to reorganize their educational actions based on pedagogy instead of just technology, because that's, to me, is one of the main problems at the global level, not only in Italy, in distance learning, that too much attention is posed on technicalities, on technical opportunities, rather than to reorganize pedagogically priorities, goals, and actions. And this is one of the reasons why, for example, the problem of inequalities emerged dramatically in this last month.
Right. Okay, this is very interesting. And besides directing and developing your work with the Research Center on Global Citizenship Education at the University of Bologna, you've also been involved as a coordinator of Angel. Angel is the academic network on global education and learning in the UK. So 2 questions here for our viewers. What is Angel, and how your work developed within Angel, and how this ties with notions of global education and global citizenship?
Yeah, so the angel activities is closely related also to the research center I direct in Italy, because we are doing similar thing, but Angel is more a global network of scholars. Initially, it has been established in 2017 as well, but initially it was mainly European, connected many European scholars, but now it has been expanded dramatically, and now it includes 550 members coming from 65 countries from all over the world. So this is now is a global network of scholars, because we realize that there aren't currently networks connecting scholars involved in promoting and researching global citizenship education, global education and learning. This is mostly the European terms for global citizenship education. While there are other networks, including network for civil society organization or policymakers, GEAN, Global Education Network of Europe, is one of the main sponsors of Angel. So, as my personal experience in coordinating this outstanding network is fascinating, because we are involved in trying to facilitate the exchange among several actors and between researchers, policymakers, and practitioners. So, for example, let me give you an example, because we recently launched a members directory tool in the Angel website, where users can easily navigate among the members to find specialists from various countries, and it is possible to search this database of the members, searching for individual by names or by one of the categories or even the country. So this is a very powerful tools for navigating in the across the membership in Angels. Or another project which is particularly emblematical of the Angel kind of activity and the Angel, I would say, the Angel approach to global education. And this is the Global Education Digest, because this was the third edition of the Global Education Digest, which is a publication systematizing global education publication in the last 5 years. But this year, the peculiarity of this year edition is that it has been published in 6 different languages. And this was a great, I would say, to my experience, was a great behavior carried out by 6 national teams, and especially in the middle of the COVID pandemic. So it's very collaborative work in this very difficult time.
So let me just put this in simple terms, because I think it's very important for our viewers. So this is a sort of a collection of publications on global education, global citizenship, both including journal articles and books, as well as PhD dissertations,
and book chapters.
So it's a pretty extensive collection that is very useful for those who are involved with research, because it's sort of is a list of very important and relevant publications in 2020. Am I correct? So each year this is published.
Yes, this each year, but unlike the other previous editions, this edition is the first one published in 6 different languages. So collecting publication in 6 different languages, and this is downloadable for free, because it's open access publication from the Angel website.
Yeah, then we'll include the link in the description
that would be great.
Video, including, of course, the work you're doing at the University of Bologna, the work you're doing at the center, as well as you say, the work in Angel, which is very, very interesting. And I'd like now to move on with, we discussed publications, recent publications, and now recently you published a chapter titled Educating to Global Citizenship in Diverse and Unequal Societies, in my edited book, Conversations on Global Citizenship Education, which is published Routledge. And in this chapter, you propose the notion of global social justice framework. Why this is important?
Okay, the idea of global social justice framework is taken from the book I co-authored with Carlos Alberto Torres in 2016, where we embodied this notion of global social justice education. Why global social justice? Because global citizenship education is an ethos, and it cannot be value-free at all. It cannot never be neutral, ethically neutral, because adopting a social justice stance makes sense to global citizenship education. Otherwise, in a value-free perspective, global citizenship education risks to be just a naive claim for superficial internationalism, very superficial one, or even worse, can be seen as a kind of a masked colonialism if it's adopted, it's understood as in a neutral way. So a global social justice is a framework encompassing individual global mindedness, subjective responsibility and behavior towards social and environmental sphere. This is a global social justice framework encompassing individual, social, and environmental sphere. That is very, very, very important. It has always to do with an ethical, non-neutral perspective. So this is the idea in which global citizenship education can be understood. Let me give you an example. If you look at the Friday for Future movement, for example, the teenagers stand out for environmental issues and against global warming, for example. Can this movement be ethically neutral? And what about the global movement related to Black Lives Matters? This cannot be ethically or even politically neutral. So this kind of a global dimensions and are necessarily value-based, and also the educational implication of this issue should be value-based as well. So this is why global social justice framework is, to me, is necessary to identify a precise way to look at the global issue in an educational context, in an educational setting.
Very interesting. All right, and it seems to me there is a sort of a underlying theme in the work you're doing on global citizenship related to social justice, related to multiculturalism, and beyond that, of course. And so let me close our conversation with a challenging question. And all my guests here were challenged on this. And the question is, how would you define global citizenship education using 3 keywords? And of course, why these 3 keywords?
Okay, so, well, summarizing what I already said, trying to conceptualize a little bit in this conversation, global citizenship education, I think that 3 keywords that could be identified for narratively explain what global citizenship education can be are, first of all, social justice, because I mentioned that social justice is one of the key dimensions for identifying global citizenship education in a non-neutral way. So social justice, first of all. Secondly, because of my personal interest, that the cultural diversity is at the very core of global citizenship education. So the second word could be interculturality. Mm-hmm. And the third one is probably the third dimension of an holistic way of global citizenship education, which is sustainability, environmental sustainability. So social justice, interculturality, and sustainability are, to me, the three key words explaining somehow what global citizenship education is to me. So they represent the three major dimensions of global citizenship education, according to my conceptualization. And the three of them encompass individual choices, individual responsibility for the social community, and the natural environment. And they should be seen or they make sense only in a very global, holistic way. So they are the three of them are structurally interconnected, and they make sense only in a holistic way.
Okay, thank you very much to Professor Massimiliano Tarozzi. We were really, really impressed about the work you're doing and all the ideas and concepts that you shared here with us, with our viewers, a Global Citizenship Interview Series. Briefly, is there any coming up project or anything you're working on that you'd like to share with our viewers?
Well, the work of Angel is continuing. We just applied for some European funding for Angel for further developed the activities of Angel team. So for the first time, we try to use the network of Angel for improving and for further developing activities related to that. And then, of course, I'm also involved in another very interesting research project together with Lynette Schuth, Professor Lynette Schuth from the University of Alberta. We are both
we had Lynette here, a guest recently on interview series. That's wonderful. So got a connection here.
Yes, we are principal investigators of our research exploring the various actors that are involved in promoting global citizenship education in North America and Europe using a social network analysis approach. Try to explore the network, who is important, what are the connections between the various actors, and the extent to which the network dimension is creating or co-creating a shared idea of global citizenship education. This is just started process of research process funded by APSEU, so a UNESCO institution. And we expect to have some initial results by the end of this year. So the first result of this research.
All right. Thank you very much to Professor Massimiliano Tarozzi. It was a very interesting conversation. Thank you for the precious work you're doing on global citizenship and beyond the global citizenship.
Thank you. And luck for your future activities. I really will look forward to see the book you edited with Routledge next spring.
Great. Yes, it will come up in March 2021, so end of March. All right, thank you very much.
Very good.